Hey everybody, how are you doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about everyone's fairly wild reactions to the newly announced Pokemon Direct. So this is a pretty interesting situation, but in a lot of ways it's not terribly surprising, and I'm sure a lot of you guys probably feel the same way. Basically, what we're dealing with is earlier this morning on Tuesday, Nintendo posted a tweet where they updated us about the Nintendo Direct for January that we've all been waiting for and really excited for, except that it's focused entirely on Pokemon. This was the tweet that went up today. Tune in on January 9th, which is this coming Thursday, at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time for roughly 20 minutes of new Pokemon information in a live-streamed Pokemon Direct presentation. Them's the good, them's the details. It's a Pokemon Nintendo Direct, and that's definitely not what most people were expecting, and it's not what a lot of people were excited for. Obviously, that includes myself, although it's a little bit unique in the sense that I've mostly been expecting a traditional Nintendo Direct sometime around this time, early 2020, probably in January. I know that there's conversations about when that's supposed to be happening, but I didn't necessarily need it to be the next Direct announced, and so the fact that we get this Pokemon Direct is definitely also surprising to me. It's not what I expected, but at the end of the day, I mean, I guess it's fine. Of course, my opinion is a little bit unique here because even as a diehard Nintendo fan, as a lot of you guys know, I am already just not a fan of Pokemon. It's not a series I'm into, it's not a series I enjoy. Obviously, you can see this copy of Pokemon Shield right here on my desk, and if you've been following me the last couple of months, you know that I did decide to pick this up as my first ever Pokemon game just to kind of give it a shot, and because I told the world that I was going to do it just to kind of see what Pokemon is like. And I've played it a little bit, and I won't share a whole lot of my opinions right now in case I make a video about it, but suffice to say, it has definitely not swayed me to the side of Pokemon fandom. That much I'll say. And so I already am that much less invested in the idea of a Pokemon-focused Direct. Even as the first one of 2020, it's just not for me. So I wasn't excited. I was definitely disappointed, but I was not angry. I'm not angry about this. Nintendo Directs, no matter what they're focused on, are just really nice little gifts that Nintendo gives us throughout the year. And it's something that's fairly unique to them. I mean, yes, Sony has now adopted the state of play, and that's fine and interesting, and I enjoy those as well for what they are. But, you know, the way Nintendo has been doing this for so long, they really pioneered this. They've found a successful formula. Even Nintendo Directs that I haven't enjoyed in the past, it doesn't really bother me. I can just say, well, that wasn't for me, and then I just move on, and I'm willing to wait for the next one, and I pretty much feel the same here. But a quick perusing through the internet reveals to you that a lot of people were actually upset about this. You know, they weren't willing to take maybe the passive approach. There were definitely some people who are excited, like the diehard Pokemon fans, but a lot of people were just completely let down by this and fairly upset. So you saw a lot of kind of negative opinions being thrown out there and some kind of meaner stuff being stated, like on Twitter and whatnot. And, you know, that's fine, but what I did want to kind of talk about and address a little bit why I think people are so upset about it, and it's pretty much obvious, I think, for a lot of reasons. The first is what I've already spent the first couple of minutes talking about here, and it's the fact that really I think most people had already hyped themselves up for a traditional Nintendo Direct in January. Everyone was waiting for, you know, here's the thing. Yes, we're used to early year Directs, and several times in the past they have been January, yes. But they've never been exclusively January, okay? We need to remember that. In fact, I think just last year, was it 2019 or 2018? Either the last year or last 2 years. There was one in February, I believe. There was not one in January. I think 2018 might have been the mini Direct in January. And then 2019, I think it was February. Either way, the point is, just recently we had a January without a Nintendo Direct. It happens. People have gotten it in their heads ever since that amazing 2013 Nintendo Direct when it was the first year of the Wii U that Nintendo does it every January, and they just simply don't, you guys. They do it often, yes, so it's nice to, you know, hope for one every January, but it's not a guaranteed locked stock thing, so I don't think that people need to put so much of their emotions into January every single year. But of course, that hasn't stopped people from doing that really. So what we've seen is most people had already just gotten it into their heads that it's January, so Nintendo's going to give us a full-fledged crazy direct with every single surprise game reveal that I've ever wanted, plus Metroid Prime 4 gameplay. Plus, we're going to find out that Master Chief and Nathan Drake is in Smash Brothers, and it's going to be amazing. It's definitely a case of people getting their expectations up maybe a little too high for what they wanted out of a January Nintendo Direct. And because of that, they aren't excited to see that it's focused entirely on Pokemon, on one game franchise and the fact that it's Pokemon. The other element here is also fairly obvious, and it's the fact that Pokemon is kind of in a world of shit right now. There's not a lot of positivity brimming from the Pokemon community surrounding Pokemon because of this game right here, Pokemon Shield and Sword, obviously. A lot of controversy there. Again, one of the reasons I decided to play it, because it's like, well, let me just play this game and see what it's all about, because everyone who loves Pokemon is so toxic against Pokemon Sword and Shield. Let me just play these games. And so I bought it with my own money. I was willing, as an experiment, I spent my own full money to just buy a copy of Pokemon. And so, you know, there's been so much drama and controversy surrounding Pokemon Sword and Shield, and therefore Pokemon as a franchise, that I think people, and this is sad for me to see, even as a non-Pokemon fan, this is still sad for me to see, people are just not having it with Pokemon. They don't want to hear anything about it. And so once a Pokemon Direct is confirmed in place of their already lofty expectations of a regular Direct, I think that just magnified people's anger. And so they just were never going to be happy with anything that wasn't a regular Direct. And then you throw Pokemon at them and everyone's already pissed at Pokemon. It's just a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. So people have just not been really excited about this. Now, as far as Pokemon goes, as far as what to see at this Direct, I don't really know what they're going to show. Maybe they show more Pokemon Go stuff. They probably will. It's 20 minutes long. Maybe they talk about that Pokemon Sleep weird thing. Maybe they confirm some kind of new exciting game. I guess that would be cool for Pokemon fans. Maybe they'll address some of the controversy. You never know. They might do it. It doesn't seem like it's really Pokemon's MO to do such a thing. But it's worth considering that maybe they address it in some way, and maybe they have a fix for it, because people didn't like that all the Pokemon weren't in the new Pokemon games, right? So maybe they're going to fix that with like a crazy patch or DLC or something that hopefully would be free. You know, probably not likely, don't get me wrong. I understand it's not likely, but, you know, 2 days before the thing happens, I don't know, we might as well at least consider the fact that part of what they're going to do is maybe try to address the controversy to try to quell some of the issues, and maybe they can promise a better future for Pokemon. So if you're somebody who is a Pokemon fan and you've been very upset with Pokemon lately and you didn't like these games, maybe instead of being mad at a Pokemon Direct, you should at least open your mind up enough just to see if maybe they're going to make you feel better about Pokemon. That's probably one of the main reasons, now that I think about it, that this is the first Direct of the year. Maybe they just want to get ahead of this as soon as possible. Let's address Pokemon. Let's make people and fans feel good about it again. Let's try to set Pokemon on the right path. Because if you're mad at it, what you shouldn't do is be mad at it forever. You should be mad at the things that you feel you need to be mad about, but you should also, if you truly want good things out of the franchise you love, that means you need to be ears open, ready and willing to accept the changes and listen to the company behind them, try to steer it to the right path. You can't just be shaking your head, arms folded, going into every messaging they're going to give you about that thing. This applies to Star Wars fans too, by the way, of which I am very much in the Star Wars fan community. You guys know that. And I think that Star Wars fans need to be willing to do the same thing, you know, and I have my issues with Star Wars, as you know. Current Star Wars is not lighting my life on fire. But I do think it's important to still be willing to hear when they want to try to set it on a path that I might enjoy. Same for Pokemon. So let's see what they're going to show for Pokemon fans. I'm not going to be watching this thing. I don't really care. I'll just catch the news after the fact. But, you know, if you're upset with Pokemon, let's wait and see what they have to say. As far as the next regular Nintendo Direct, the one that we're all waiting for and that we all suspect might be right around the corner, there is a small chance that they do another Nintendo Direct after this one. Maybe, and in the month of January. Maybe they're planning to do 2 Nintendo Directs this month. It wouldn't be the first time. It's incredibly rare, but I do know it's happened before. I think it actually happened before Smash Bros. Ultimate, like around September. Does that sound right to you guys? I obviously don't have the dates in front of me. I feel like they did a Smash Focus Direct and a regular Direct in 1 month before Smash Ultimate came out. Maybe I'm wrong, and so maybe it was even longer ago that they did it. Bottom line, it's not impossible that we get another one in January, but at this point, I'm just going to be real, and if I'm reading this announcement surface level, and I'm not trying to expose any behind-the-scenes details or secrets that I know, I'm just going to say if I was going to predict, this announcement to me means that we're probably not going to see a regular Direct until next month in February. And if anyone wants to kind of, groan at, oh my God, we'd have to wait till February, that's so terrible. I mean, is it so terrible? It's already the second week of January. Like, we'll be in February in only a couple of weeks. Like, if there's any truth to it. I'm just throwing the guess out there, okay? Just throwing a guess out there. And so, if we see one in February, then who cares? It's just a couple weeks away. Like, we'll be there in no time, and then we'll get that great Direct. But let's keep our options open. What if they surprise us and they're like, and it turns out January 23rd, we're going to have another January Nintendo Direct, and it's going to be 40 minutes about all your favorite exciting upcoming Switch games, the way they normally tend to announce these things. Anything is possible. It's just, to me, once this was announced and not a regular Nintendo Direct for January, I feel like we can take this for what it seems like on the surface. The Direct we're getting in the month of January is this Pokemon Direct. The next time we get a regular Direct is sometime after January, so could be February. Could be March. I feel like March is the latest we're going to get it. I think they always want a Q1 full-fledged Nintendo Direct of some kind. And I mean, I think that even in 2018, when I think they gave us that January Direct, that mini Direct, I think the next real Direct was in March, only 2 months later. Again, I think. I don't have these dates in front of me. I should probably stop trying to just predict and guess these things. I should have just pulled the dates up, but whatever. I'm just talking off the top of my head. So you guys can check the dates and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that stuff. The point is, I think we can expect a Q1 Nintendo Direct. That's only 3 months time. Yes, it's a lot of time, but it's also a small window of time as well. So let's just wait and see. I think that January is specifically for Pokemon, and let's just cross our fingers for February for a regular Direct. So that's what's going on with this Pokemon Nintendo Direct that was announced today that has everybody pissed and up in arms. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, Nintendo, how dare you? Let's wait and see what happens, man. We might get a surprise second one this month, or we might get the next one just a few weeks later in February. And if you're a Pokemon fan, let's wait and see what this thing shows. Again, I won't be watching it, but as somebody who's been, standing on the periphery of the Pokemon community the last year, and especially the last couple of months, I'm very interested to see how people react to whatever shows up in this thing. And if the news is crazy, I will cover it. Even though I won't have watched this Direct presentation live, I will cover the news if there's some worthwhile stuff for me to talk about, even as a non-fan. I'm always willing to throw my 2 cents into the ring and share my opinions because it seems like you guys really like to hear me talk about this stuff, especially Pokemon, even though I'm not a fan. So I'm not afraid to talk about it if they show some good stuff. So let's just wait and see. It's going to be the day after this goes up on Thursday the 9th. And so who knows? Anything can happen. So with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.